Hey guys, welcome to tonight's episode of Truth Shocker with your host, Rocco Fowler, and co-host, Giggle Pickles.
How's everybody doing? Hope well. I'm gonna make an announcement. I'm not gonna say names. I'm not gonna say anything like that. But there is a future guest that remembers things that I started to remember. Weirdly enough, I'm not giving hints, not to try to make. Oh yeah, well, who is that? No. You'll just have to be in for that to hear it. A lot of what I say myself on these shows, I mean, she doesn't go in, this individual doesn't go into great detail, but they go into enough detail to make you wonder. So that's that. Heard of it? I had I had a friend that I allowed to see. Okay, people like myself has a tendency of giving away things for free. And it's not materialistic either. Sometimes it's the roof over your head. Until you get your act together and you can get yourself moving and motivated. I've been in that situation. However, I'm just doing something. Hold on a second. People want to wear it away from me a little bit. But anyways, you don't take people's help for granted. Um, and continuously ask for cigarettes, continuously ask for things, but you don't want to go out and get a job. Um, I'm sorry, but I'm not one of those people that just, oh, well, you're evil because of money and, you're choosing money over friendship. And I'm like, well, look at the economy we live in, jackass.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I need every fucking penny that's in my pocket. I've already gotten, screwed in many different ways. But, I live and I learn.
Yep.
You live and you learn.
Well, I'm gonna call my boss, my big boss. I'll probably talk to her Monday, and I'm gonna tell them that I want a pay raise because of the stuff that's been going on at work. And I'm getting tired of it. I didn't get home until late last night. I was supposed to be off at 8:15. I didn't get out of the store until little after 9 o'clock. And I'm getting tired of the cleaning I'm the only one that's stuck doing the cleaning and stock and everything else. I'm not even on management or what do they call it, trainer pay. And I tried to train a kid how to make tea last night, and the kid ended up scalding his hand with hot water. So I'm done. Either they give me a pay raise or I'm leaving. So, and my significant other will be here in less than 30 days. He will not be on camera, but you might be able to hear his voice when he's here. So, in about 2 weeks from Thursday, I probably will not be on live or any social media. It's my birthday, and I'm going to be out doing something for my birthday. Oh, God. We went without power today for several hours. That sucked. We had high winds. We had a transformer blowout. It rained here today. I mean, it rained because we're getting the after effects of Hurricane Ian. We are under state of emergency. So, which sucks. But otherwise, we've been trying to hold up. The stores are going to be closed for the next couple of days. So thank God I've got food in my freezer. And I've got cigarettes in my freezer. So the only thing I need is drink. So the dollar store will hopefully be open tomorrow if we don't lose power again. Oh. Otherwise, we are all holding up here.
Amazing.
In little rinky-dink Virginia.
It's amazing how it all bypasses me.
Yeah. I was hoping it bypassed us, but we didn't get that lucky.
Yeah.
So, if you guys notice, yes, my hair is tucked up underneath a hat. Uh-oh.
Gabriel, hold on.
All
Gabriel
right.
might want to come on the show.
All right.
All right, I'm not gonna answer 50 million calls, dude. Obviously, I haven't picked up yet. Just okay.
I just sent him the link to come on if he wanted
All right.
to.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
I can't hear you.
Whoa, what the hell is going on? There we go. He will be right back, guys. So, yeah, we are holding up to this hurricane after effects. So, just trying to relax and not stress out over Mother Nature. So, what have y'all been doing as of lately? There he is, guys. I told you he'd be back.
Who was asking for me?
Oh no, I was letting everybody know that you would be right back.
How many people are in the house?
We have one person in the house right now.
Who is this?
I have no idea. I don't have my other phone. It died on me. So
I think Gabriel wants to jump on.
yeah, I sent him the link for tonight's stream if he wanted to come up. So
Yeah.
I have not been able to get a hold of the other one. I haven't heard nothing back from him. So I don't know when we'll be able to get him on.
Who's that? The one with the daughter? Yeah.
Vinny.
Who?
Vinny.
Oh, Vinny, yeah. He gets a little nervous.
So yeah.
Gotta understand. I know what he went. I know exactly what he went through.
Yeah.
And yeah, no. Couple of different people that I'm gonna bring
on. But me and my
memories.
significant other have been talking the last few days. And he even has agreed with me that he needs to hurry up and retire so we can get a motorhome and travel. So I was shocked when he agreed with me.
But we all know things can change.
So but we were talking about doing a lot of traveling and just letting it be me and him for a while, while I live stream. So I was shocked and surprised. They actually had to get a hold of law enforcement to get his one sister out of the house. So, because she has not been taking her meds. She ran outside, not yesterday, but the day before, and as a helicopter flew over the house, she was outside screaming at the neighbors, saying that they were spying on her and yada, yada, yada. And
I don't know the person, so I really can't say, you know.
But
And what kind of helicopter was it?
one of the life flight helicopters. Which was kind of funny. I mean, it's not the first time she's done it. She's not supposed to be drinking. She's supposed to be taking her meds, and she hasn't been taking her medication. And so she accused my significant other of spying on her, videotaping her, sending the videos to the government, and she's not taking her meds because the government's trying to control her. It's just the woman had a stroke several decades ago, and I love the woman to death, but she's not all there. And she threw a phone at her brother. She smacked their other sister. She's refusing the visiting nurses, and it's just she has gotten out of control, and it's her not taking her medication and drinking when she is taking her medication. So they called in on her yesterday, and they took her to be observed for 72 hours. And I keep telling them that they're probably going to put her in a living facility. Hey, Gabriel.
Hi there. How you doing?
And hanging in there, trying to deal with the after effects of Hurricane Ian. Stuck indoors. It's raining. We've got 50-mile-an-hour winds. We actually had a transformer blow today, so you guys are lucky I got my power back on. But yeah, one of the transformers blew. We were out of power for several hours, and I was dying because it was so hot in here. So, but Yeah, my significant other will be here in less than 30 days, and that kind of makes me happy. He's already talking about retirement, wanting me and him to travel, and I was like, good. I was happy that he wanted to get into a motorhome and travel. So, but other than that, you know, just the same old stuff, different day. Day off. And
Were you
how
there
have
in
you
Florida?
been?
I've been.
No, I'm
I've been
actually in Virginia.
Okay. Does that mean you
So
were? Does that mean your house was very close to where the hurricane was?
it part of it,
No, they
the
don't.
wind
They
bands
got
and all
after
that hit
effects.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they got
it's just the
after
after
effects.
effects. We had, 50-mile-an-hour winds,
But dude, I
torrential
was
rain,
trying.
and
I
some
was
power
trying to
outages.
direct it. I was trying to direct it, Gabriel, towards more like Long Island.
Oh, Montauk was hit already.
No, not as bad as it needs to be. Until I
Oh, it
hear.
was hit hard.
No, I
They're
don't
talking
believe that.
about bridges being down. They were actually evacuating people.
All right, all right. Before you start talking about this, I need evidence. You brought it
Okay.
up. I want the evidence.
Let me find the weather channel.
What parts of Montauk do you know? Do you know Turtle Cove? Do you know Camp Hero Air Force Base?
Well, from what it
Do you
said,
know
that
it ain't Montauk Highway? Montauk Highway goes all the way to West Hampton Beach, where there's
in a second,
ocean
let me
there.
find it.
I spoke to a gentleman the
Ow!
other day, and they haven't lost their power.
God.
And he was more worried about his family, and he lives in Montauk. His Facebook's been wide open, so I don't think Montauk got hit.
That freaking
Trust me.
hurt. Oh.
I don't know about Montauk getting hit. That don't. I mean, everybody that I speak, and I speak to a lot of people in that area, so it's like I wouldn't be speaking to them if they got hit by it. You know what I mean? That place, if they would have got hit,
I'm trying to find it. I'm waiting for it to come back up. Oh, God, that hurt. You are going to have to get out of my chair. Thank you.
I highly doubt it got hit that hard because power is still out there. I've been talking with people today.
I know they
Facebook.
said that there was trees down. There was a bridge that was out.
Oh, there's no bridge in Montauk. There's no bridge in Montauk, so that can't be Montauk. And technically there's no bridge anywhere in the Hamptons, and they're very small bridges, and they're on back roads that I could take you down, and you'd be like, how the hell did you get me from point A to point B even faster? Because a lot of people don't realize sometimes the back roads are shorter.
Right now they're getting wind bands.
Yeah.
And a lot of rain. So
yeah, it's not gonna.
But I'm waiting for the damn meteorologists to come up so they'll talk about it.
Yeah, well, meteorologists lie too. They like to make money just as well. The internet, you can't really believe anything. I've heard things on the internet and then went in person. Like last time I was on Long Island, I heard something about it and I went and checked it, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly, but it was a lie. It was a
Well, I
lie.
know the one meteorologist, Jim Cantori, he got taken out by a tree limb.
Where at?
Florida.
Like,
I saw one of the meteorologists or maybe weather reporters get struck by a tree that was coming but quickly recovered. Like it was just a moment. But that
Oh, this one took
that
him out in the
hurricane
legs.
is no joke. I don't know why people want to risk being in that. I mean, I heard from them that they like the thrill of it, but it's like
Yeah,
we have all this technology now. It's like, why go out of your way to put yourself in danger for the thrill
in
of it?
danger. Yeah.
Gabriel,
Yeah,
Crocodile, Dundee,
yeah,
right?
That's not
yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
This is annoying.
You want to see some more discoveries?
Okay, I want to get into the muscle testing with you
Okay.
just a little bit.
Hey, DK. DK says, hey, Giggle, Rocco, and guest. Our guest is Gabriel. Oh, come
Hey
on,
guys,
coffee, hurry up and brew.
for those who don't
There's
know
a
me,
lot
I'm
of
a Reiki practitioner, owner of the Reiki Master Team, because when you work with spirit, you never work alone. And for those who want to reach me, you can always email me at the Reiki Master Team at gmail.com. Um, and you can ask for a Reiki session. But other than that, I'm your guide to Atlantis and the earthworks of the ancestors, showcasing how people navigated and how some of these things are actually still affecting us today, anywhere from global warming, quite literally, because of how much the lands were reshapen and devastated by the over farming, um, cutting of trees to create earthworks, quite literally separating earth, and all sorts of things. And we are still receiving the impact, because part of these storms are part of global warming. Because when the earth gets really warm, it brings in a lot of that cold from the Arctic conditions, starts screwing up with it starts screwing with the poles, and then all those wind gusts and cold conditions start coming out. So we get really cold winters and really hot summers, and things like hurricanes. Um, so if you want to see how these things are happening, um, I can show you quite literally through proof of ancient earthworks in the past, because of the scale of them quite literally affecting our ecosystems. Uh, do you care to see?
Yeah, the grid, the
What about the
power
what?
grid, the power grid,
The power grid.
like the under layer part where like all of the technology that's being used, the grid,
Well,
sort of like the under layer.
Well, I like to keep things in the more academic sense so that because when it comes to ancient technology, it's not all about tech. Sometimes it's about the technology of the many small things working together to create really big things. And that's why I talk about the earthworks, because it's a lot of small things creating a lot of big things. Um, so that is, in a way, a form of ancient technology because of how it reshaped the systems. So, and I
Yeah,
like to
but
try to keep.
what I'm saying is why are more and more people see me and you have two different viewpoints, on research in a way, you know what I mean? Because obviously everybody has experiences, but they live different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's all different. Mine is more geared towards the like super soldier and other planets and knowing that we can live on these other planets. It's just we gotta. Wow, where am I? Huh. Wait
you're
a
here.
minute.
I
You
can
can
see
see
you.
me,
Yeah, I can see you.
dude. I cannot see myself. That is crazy. I'm sitting in front of a screen. I cannot see myself. Normally, I would be able to. What?
Crystal still there?
I'm
Yeah.
still here.
Do you
Okay.
see me, Crystal?
What?
Do you see me?
Yeah, I can see ya.
Okay, so that's two people. I'm looking at my screen right now, and my chair is there, but I am not there.
We are
No,
like
this is
seconds
not
behind.
funny. I am not kidding you right now. Like,
Well,
it's
that's
really
interesting.
weird. Well, I do bilocate, so I could be somewhere else. You're just talking to, a replacement of me. But
Well, we
anyways,
can see you.
I'm sorry.
We can see you,
I
bud.
mean, it has happened, man. But I've never had it happen on a live show, though. This is really weird, and I see what you're saying because I am.
So I wanted to address a few things for why these hurricanes are happening.
Dude, what the fuck? I'm rolling my chair around.
Yeah, you keep freezing up. I wish I could
I'm
swivel
not
my chair,
even
but my chair will
seeing
only go in
myself
one direction.
giggle. What? No, I've already checked that. I've already checked that. My cam is good. Let's try this. No, man, it does not want me to be seen or I like I
Well,
said, I'm not in.
Well, we can see you
Just to let
and
you
we
know,
can hear you.
Rocco, silver vehicle, dark tinted windows, SUV style.
Oh no, just now?
They're sitting across the street.
Okay, why
I
have
find
I
it
been
amusing.
drinking? Okay, okay,
I'm finding
so
it amusing.
I spoke with a friend the other day, and right when as soon as she started talking to me, right, somebody that I had problems with. But see, when you learn how to transmute, a lot of the frauds have a tendency of being plucked out of the bunch, right? And
All
they
right.
take themselves away because their cosmic karma has caught up to them. And, since you're transmuting everything into love, people hate when somebody is excited, happy, feels good about themselves because they really feel miserable about themselves. So when you
Yep.
transmute that and you basically say, okay, well, you know what? I'm not mad at you, but anyways, have a good day, block. That's it.
Yep.
And then you no longer have to ever deal with that situation. I mean, not saying that you're not going to have to deal with it again, but once you learn that word transmutation and you realize that you can change just about anything in a timeline, it becomes a very good tool because, it could be the biggest person, and, they could have millions of followers, but you're the one who turns around and says, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger guy. I'm going to walk away from this. I'm not going to give them the energy they're looking for, which that brings into the succubus. But there was a girl that we used to talk about. I'm not going to say her name because her phone's watched, but she contacted me and was thinking about me, and then a friend of hers contacted me, and we had a mutual friend, and she said, "Can you help her?" And I said, "Of course." That's what I do for my paying back society, helping other people is one of the number one rules in my book. You never leave stray. It's like never leaving a soldier in the battlefield to die. And that's basically been done to me numerous occasions, but I'm not harping on it. Get it? I'm not just going to sit there and harp on it. I'm going to move forward.
Let me have her seat back, please.
But I got a picture of a Chevy, the type vehicles that she sent me, and it was following her, and she made a police report, and all of a sudden, a black SUV pulled up on her. Government plates and all. I saw it. So, yeah, this is when you're, regardless of your experience, it's the knowledge that you hold that they do not want anybody in this world to know. And I mean, it can be archaeology, it can be far back, like not even talking about, super soldiers and MK Ultra and that stuff, talking about stuff that was hidden that wasn't supposed to be found. And they didn't want us to find it. It's almost like it's almost like the system is so corrupt it just wants the whole planet to itself and to do whatever it wants. Somebody made a really good point the other day. They said, living in this world is like living in an internment camp.
Pretty much.
Like you're for real. Like, and in a sense, I do kind of feel that is go spot on. And I feel that the culture now and the new generation is just getting hit with stuff that, as I would say to my child, don't watch that. That's not good for you. It will mess your brain up. Where other parents think that it's okay for this stuff. And, it, it, what's sad is there's so many young women and they're all having children.
Yep.
And we all know why that is. Nursing homes, um, you know, population something, yeah. And then you rebirth, you bring more in. And it's disgusting. Mass, I believe it's mass, you know what? There's that word. I believe that this country is falling apart and nobody realizes how bad this country is falling apart. And the people that do are trying to figure out ways to change that. But I have a feeling it's a little too late. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
I'm an optimist. I don't think anything's ever too late.
You don't think what?
I'm an optimist. I don't think anything's ever too late, really.
Yeah, I know, but man, it's the infighting in the community. Like, is the problem. Instead of let's all team up together because we all have these psionic abilities and we all have these, instead we want to argue about whose stories, more popular. It's like that's what I mean. This you know or topic of whatever MK Ultra, Monarch, Montauk, whatever it is, it's like if you don't fit a certain category for somebody, they feel like you're not involved. But meanwhile, they don't even know you. They just met you on Facebook, one of the biggest mind control platforms.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's almost like just looking in the screen, it's weird. It's like phones, like I look at my phone now and I'm like, I remember only flip phones. I was like, wow, how fast technology just. I mean, I still believe that a lot of the technology that's being used today was already being used.
There's a very good chance of that, and it's not something that I would doubt in any way because of all of the works that I've seen and that I can actually prove. Um, but I have to keep things in the perspective of the evidence. For
Because
my
you might get caught up.
Well, it's not that. Um, for example, I'm not a super soldier, okay? So I can't tell stories that I don't have any memories of.
I
Um,
know.
so I have to keep things in the more academic sense for how we can relate these things, how we may be able to prove them, which I do have all sorts of evidence for at least the potential for ancient technology and how that relates to today's world.
Yeah.
I'm just making a another screenshot so that way I can show you something really interesting that our ancestors did. That's
I'm holding up Grubster.
well, I want to show you something a while,
Okay.
and I don't know if I showed it to you last time. Actually, I know for a fact I did not show this to you last time. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think you showed me much last time.
Okay, so in the country of Mauritania, there are these sand dunes which stretch for hundreds of miles, basically. Um, like a couple hundred, maybe 100 or 2 miles, moving east to west. Um, and what's really interesting is that along these sand dunes, there is a massive earthwork. This is what I referred to as the Boat of Noah formation. And you can see a face upon either the right or left side. Do you see it upon your right side or your left side? The face.
Um, probably
In
be
the
my
dark.
left side.
Okay. And you
Oh,
see on the
in
other
the dark
side.
spot.
Yeah, and you see on the other side how it kind of looks like there's
Okay,
a
yeah, that would be
crow
on my
or
right side.
raven. Okay. But you see the bird head on one
Yeah,
side looking one way and the person's face looking the other way? Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so this earthwork can actually be overlaid with North America to a certain degree. I don't know how well you can see that,
Yeah,
but you should be able to see the bird head come into a slow
uh-huh.
view, and you should be able
Yeah,
to see the face for North America facing Asia because the ancestors used anthropomorphic cartography to describe the formations of the lands and seas.
yep.
So again,
Yeah, I see
for
that.
okay,
Yes,
so what?
guys, I do look different. I cut my hair and work has been a little rough.
Yeah.
Now they're more.
And yes, I'm still wearing makeup.
Now there are more obvious earthworks for this one here, and I will show you one I believe in Algeria. Hold on. Yes, this is Algeria. It's along the western parts of Algeria for the earthwork along the sand dunes. And this one is very, very clear for how they shaped it. So why were they making this shape?
Yeah,
It was for navigation. So by creating a similarity between the lands, the people would know exactly where they were so that they could guide each other. The problem is when our ancestors did these, it caused the lands to be shaped in a way that wasn't as natural for the environments. Um, so things like deforestation can happen. And when you farm a land too much, you cut the trees. What happens with all the farming? It ruins the water system because you don't
It
have all
ruins the
those.
water, it ruins the land, and
And I'm going to show you another formation for this in Africa as well. Um, you see, the Eye of Africa, although it's the face of North America, um, they also use the eye concept as a bird's face. Hold on, let's see. How well can you see that transition? So the reason why they would have used that bird face
yeah.
is because that was associated with the Eye of Ra
Hmm.
or the Eye of Horus. Um,
Right,
because Ra and Horus share eyes, and then there's also the concept of Horus and the Osiris bird. And when we go to
right,
the Eye of Africa, when you go to the Tyr region, you can actually see the Osiris bird in that Tyr region, and I will show you what that Osiris bird looks like. I may have showed it to you before. I think I did show you this on the last show, but this is worth the repeat because when
oh
we
yeah,
look at
yeah,
the
yeah, you showed us that in the
face,
last stream.
right, but when we look at the face of the Osiris bird, that is actually the face of South America.
Right,
And when we zoom out a little bit, I zoomed out and you can see that is definitely in the tier for the Eye of Africa.
right.
So, what does this mean? Is the Eye of Africa normal? Or is that actually an earthwork as well? And that's something I can prove to be an earthwork because when we examine the face of Africa um, and overlay it with the continents, we can see the face um, of North America appear, and I'm looking for the transition because I actually have hundreds of slides in here that I can show you guys. Um, okay, good. I clicked on the right one. Look at me. Um, so that's over in Canada, right there. So
Yeah,
what's the deal with Canada, right? Well, you see how it looks like a face, but there's also a triangular crown concept to that face. If we look back in
yeah,
history with all the ancient rulers, for a time they had triangular crowns. And they weren't trying to be jokesters or anything, they're just trying to show people how to get around. Um, so, uh, hold on. Let me get a better view of this. Doing a quick edit just so that it's more overlaid. Um,
ouch.
By the time we're done with the overlay,
Yeah.
it should look something a little bit more like this.
Oh, wow.
So what does this tell us? It tells us that the ancestors were working very hard to reshape all the lands so that they could create a guided navigation for each other. And if we look at the Hebrew history, what does Moses do? He takes the people out into the desert and they stay in the desert for years, for 40 years specifically. And that concept of 40 was most likely in reference to the sand dune tablets of Thoth, which I refer to them as the sand dune tablets of Thoth, because there are an approximate um, 6 lines in the sand for traveling to the bird face. I think I did show you this on the last show, but this is worth the repeat because
Oh,
when we
yeah,
look at
yeah,
the
yeah. You showed us that in the last
face,
screen.
right, but when we look at the face of the Osiris bird, that is actually the face of South America.
Right.
And when we zoom out a little bit, I zoomed out and you can see that is definitely in the tier for the Eye of Africa.
Right.
So, what does this mean? Is the Eye of Africa normal? Or is that actually an earthwork as well? And that's something I can prove to be an earthwork because when we examine the face of Africa um, and overlay it with the continents, we can see the face um, of North America appear, and I'm looking for the transition because I actually have hundreds of slides in here that I can show you guys. Um, okay, good. I clicked on the right one. Look at me. Um, so that's over in Canada, right there. So
Yeah.
what's the deal with Canada, right? Well, you see how it looks like a face, but there's also a triangular crown concept to that face. If we look back in
Yeah.
history with all the ancient rulers, for a time they had triangular crowns. And they weren't trying to be jokesters or anything, they're just trying to show people how to get around. Um, so, uh, hold on. Let me get a better view of this. Doing a quick edit just so that it's more overlaid. Um,
Ouch.
by the time we're done with the overlay,
Yeah.
it should look something a little bit more like this.
Oh, wow.
So what does this tell us? It tells us that the ancestors were working very hard to reshape all the lands so that they could create a guided navigation for each other. And if we look at the Hebrew history, what does Moses do? He takes the people out into the desert, and they stay in the desert for years, for 40 years specifically. And that concept of 40 was most likely in reference to the sand dune tablets of Thoth, which I refer to them as the sand dune tablets of Thoth, because there are an approximate um, 6 lines in the sand for traveling to the bird face of Mauritania. Um, and I'm going to actually go to my Facebook post on this because I did post about it. But um, when we look north of the eye, we see an approximate 6 lines. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get this so I can swipe. Okay. We see an approximate 6 lines. Do you see that?
Right. Yeah.
And when it came to the Moses story, the people would eat the manna, the bread of life. And when we look at the eyebrow region, because this is just the eyebrow for the whole eye area, and that's iris and pupil, but when we travel
Right.
across here, what's happening? Why are these sands segregated? Well, this is likely in reference to the 6 days of creation concept, and then God rests on the seventh. And if you see that, you'll see that it's in the shape of a bird's head in reference to Atum as an eagle. And even to this day, what is on the back of the American quarter? An eagle.
Eagle.
And
The
and
eagle
they did,
clutching the arrows.
yeah. I that's really funny that I pointed that out with arrows and the eagle clutches arrows. That was unintentional, seriously. Um, but they did that in the Roman and Greek era too, I believe, and I think to some extent, if I'm correct, I might not be correct, um, but I know that it does go back to Egypt. So, but when we look at these lines in the sand, think about this. What does it look like? If you were to circle this region right here, what would that look like with all the slits in the sand? It would look like a baguette. In
Yep.
short, in short, the bread of life, the manna, is most likely in reference to learning the lands, because as you come to learn the lands, you come to learn the lay of the world and how to navigate
Right.
across. So, by learning how to consume the knowledge from the ground, hence the manna being collected from the ground, the people become nourished. So each day they would travel from line to line, area to area, and they would learn the way. And here's a drawing for a drawing I made up for the Google Earth. Just so people can get an idea for it. But there's also an interpretation. There's also an interpretation for Shu, but also possibly Hathor, um, for the face of West Africa, for the coastal face. And there's actually a possibility that this is also trying to describe the face of North America, or that perhaps they work to reshape the lands altogether in a similar way. And if you look to where the feather is, I'm going to show you a clearer face on Google Earth, that this might actually double as an interpretation for Greenland, because when you look at the area to the left of the eye, when looking at it on Google Earth, you'll see that it does begin to take the shape of Greenland. And just for a quick reference, this is what Greenland looks like. And it kind of looks like it's in the shape of a bear. And there's actually a story in the Hebrew Bible about the bald-headed man. How the kids made fun of the bald-headed man, and keep in mind that the sands are barren, so the head is bald. And then the two she-bears come to attack unfortunately in this case, kids who were making fun of the bald-headed man. Well, I was doing further research, and there's another possibility that I'm not going to go into detail, but I also saw another earthwork for a bear formation that I found in Asia.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it's cold outside.
I'm listening, man. Very interesting. Wow.
Thank you. But I wanted to show
Yeah,
you complete solid proof that these are definitely earthworks, and I just wanted to show you one more real quick in Mauritania. This is to represent most likely the face of Noah, and that's actually in California. And that's like 60 miles long, 50, 60 miles long, that earthwork. And it's about the same length, nearly the same, or almost the same as the coast.
the paramedics are outside. They're taking one of my neighbors to the hospital.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is an every night we deal with them.
But I'll look for exactly where that is on. Oh, I already found it. This one is in Mauritania this time. So right there, you can see, no joke, it's actually on Google Earth. And I'm going to mark it for you guys. If you want to find it, simply look up 254103 North, 75731 West. That's an approximate location. And there it is in Mauritania, the face of Noah. And why would I call that the face of Noah? Or face of Abraham, possibly. I think more associated with Noah because the traveling of the waters to the other side of the world. But there is actually a map of Africa in North America that is very, very big, more than big, several hundred miles long. It's going to take me a moment to find that, but I will find it. So take your time, talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to try to find it here for you.
So who's listening?
This could be it. Hold on. Oh, nope, this isn't it. But I will show you an Africa map at let's see, where is it? I mean, I know it's in Egypt. Uh, I'm gonna go to the Africa map in Egypt because that's the one I clicked on right now. But if you look at the pyramids, their original designs, um, the interpretation would have meant to represent either Lord Atum or Min, depending on the concept. And the Great Pyramid is at the crown of Atum. And then the smaller pyramid, the middle one, is supposed to be where Sardinia is, and you know that region, because it kind of makes a square concept almost in those waters. And then there's the smaller pyramid, which would have been over at the crown of Africa. And it looks like there used to be a river that used to flow into the sea that's now dry. You know, no wonder because they dried the lands.
Right,
Um,
right.
but when you look at the southern regions of Africa, you'll see that it does appear that they actually included the lighter colored waters. What does that mean? It means that those more lightly colored waters in the South Atlantic Ocean were likely on the surface at one point, meaning those are likely lost lands, and we should be doing research for what is there. Because there's probably pyramids there too, and all sorts of things.
Well, Montauk is definitely
Yeah.
pyramid. Well, I mean, I don't know about it this given moment, but
I
well,
know didn't they find an underwater pyramid over in, what was it? Was it China or Japan?
I don't know, but Montauk connects to like several like Atlantis. It connects. It's like, why do you think they call it Montauk Point? It's a point. So point, you know what I mean? It's like different direction. It's like there's a word for it. I'm trying to find the word where it connects to all these different, you know, like Europe, this place, that place. It's like it connects to all different places. Weird. There's a connection, it seems. What do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I
That's
found
that wouldn't surprise me.
Rightfully, right, right.
well, I mean, I did find earthworks over there as well, indicating
Yeah.
that it was during the age of the ancient earthworkers, age of the Atlanteans. So, and I will address in greater detail as to why they were called Atlanteans in a moment, as soon as this blank string gets a picture on it, so I can make the overlay and the pictures on it now. Hold on. Like I'm seriously working on these things while I'm talking with you because there are just so many on my phone.
What app do you use? 'Cause my buddy said there's an app, and he said it's been picking up the good for the ETs that he picks up on camera. He uses some kind of app.
I'm just using Photoleap. It's just a software program that you can install on your phone. Okay. Okay, so I basically got this now. Hold on. A tiny smidge. Okay, good. Okay, so for reference, there's that face. It's all the way down there. You see it? It's so tiny you can't even see it.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
like 50, 60 miles. So this is a very large view of Western America. So now we're going to see how Africa is overlaid upon it. And you can do this with your phones or apps or whatever you like, and you will come up with the same solution. And
Oh
why
wow.
is this so and why is this so big? The reason is the the ancestors, keep in mind the Native Americans do what? They have teepees, they're traveling people, although they have tribes and many countries, especially before we came over here and screwed things up. Bad white man. Seriously, we screwed
He
That is
things
said,
bad
up.
white man.
They roamed the lands, and that goes back to the ancestors based on what I have examined in the earthworks. By navigating the lands, not only for tens of miles or hundreds of miles, but thousands of miles even, you get to learn how the ancestors reshaped the earth for navigation. That's most likely why we see the Native Americans still doing their sun dancing to this day. Just like how Moses led the people into the desert to connect with Creator. And why do they call, the Alpha and Omega Creator? Well, think about it. The creation of the earthworks, the maps, and
Yep.
and this is really the true technology um, that I speak of when it comes to Atlantean tech. Because just as I am a Reiki practitioner and I can go to connect with people, um, sensing what's going on with their chakras, their pools of energy, for how their body is connecting to their spirit, what's affecting them, um, and what I can do to help them with, quite literally clearing the junk out and sending them good energy. Um, the greatest tech that the Atlanteans have left us with are these earthworks, because we can go to these earthworks and go to certain places, and by going to those places be able to connect with our neighbors from afar, because this is how they would have referred to as the energy of the land, the ancestors being in the earth, going out to the earth on a guided walk to connect with Creator, to receive wisdom, because all this wisdom can be stored around us in so many different ways, especially the lands we walk on. And
yeah.
because everybody wants to know what's happening, we want to have
Yep.
newspapers. And how would people do that? Our brothers and our sisters from overseas, they would come and they would tell us what's happening. And we would come before the fire and listen intently. And we would go on walks with them. And as we would walk with them in the desert, or whether it's the desert or vegetative areas of land, because they did both, we would come to understand not only what they've been through as they walked with us on that journey, showing us where they were, where their people were going, what was going to happen next, and the history of it. We would be able to connect with the ancestors from afar as well and better understand how to prepare our people for anyone who may be coming over here from overseas. So, this is really how we kept in touch with our neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, how else are you supposed to stay in touch? Right?
Right, right.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, you don't want
Besides
to.
cell phones and paper and pen and envelopes and stamps. But
That's
yeah,
right. But here's the thing: paper and pen, that can be forged.
well, it would
The
be paper and
stories,
quill back then.
yeah, but whether it be paper or people, stories can be misinterpreted sometimes. That's why we would
Yeah,
walk with them. So that way, as we go to those areas,
that's why my ancestors, the elders, would tell us stories about things that happened, in their lifetime, their parents' lifetime, their great grandparents' lifetime, um, because it was all done by word of mouth. There was no paper. There was no form of writing way back, during my ancestors' days, and everything had to be done by word of mouth. So a lot of things could get misconstrued.
well, I wouldn't say that there was no form of writing entirely. I mean, we could use symbols, for symbolism, and we could also use the formations of the lands and seas to create language, such as what I've seen in the Phoenician language. Um, and I think the Phoenician language goes a lot farther back than people currently believe in academia. It's something which I can actually better prove through the terminology of the gods. Um, but that should probably be reserved for a little later. Back to the point of what I'm talking about. Um, Language breaks down and it changes so much over time that it doesn't quite make much sense um, to listen to the hearsay. We can just go out there and sense for yourself what's happening.
Yeah.
Of course, we can do that now a lot more easily, but I think that it's not quite the same for people um, between going on the walk and staying at home. Because some people need that walk. Some people, need to get out and connect in those ways, and that's how we did.
Uh-huh. Yep.
We still do.
Yep.
Oh,
I
I
took my
still
son
like
out
to
when
go.
he was 13. I took him out on his vision quest. And I stayed, you know, I stayed close by just in case he needed me. But, he went and had to do you know, his becoming a man. And he took, um, oh, what do they call it? He took a rock and literally put his name on a rock, a big boulder, to let everybody know that, and what year that he was there to do it. And I took him to a place that had pictographs from other people that had been there hundreds of years before. And so I taught him the ways of our ancestors. And,
Good.
you know, things that I don't get to, there's things now that I don't get to do with him that need to be done with him. And, you know, he's, you know, I've said this before. My son is 14. He's doing college classes and regular school classes. He's going to graduate college before he graduates high school. And once he graduates, he's going directly off to work for places like Microsoft and other places like that that do video games and stuff like that. But when he reaches a certain age here, he has to go and do safety classes to learn how to handle a hunting rifle so he can go out and hunt. But I've taught him how to use a bow and arrow. I've taught him, you know, how to use a knife in cleaning things like fish, rabbit, squirrel.
Yeah.
So things that he doesn't have to take classes for, he's already done. And he knows what to do. And it's all because of how I was raised with, you know, in our ancestral culture. And there are stories that I have told him about, you know, part of our ancestors. And he kind of got a little confused on it, but he understood what it meant. So, and he tells me all the time, Mom, how come our culture isn't like it used to be? I said, it changes over the years. It changes over the decades. Even the language changes just a little bit.
So he's living on his own now?
Do what?
So he's living on his own now?
No, not yet. He's living with his sister, unfortunately. But
Oh, I thought he had to go off and be a man, you said.
his vision quest when he turned 13. When a boy turns 13 in Native American culture, he is supposed to go out with the man that is supposed to be his dad to teach him the vision quest, or to take him out to do his vision quest. Well, his father has never been in the picture, and his father is a white man. And so Mom, being 95% Native American, Mom had to do it. And because I am the last member of our family, of our tribe, and I'm the only one that has the dark hair and green eyes, they consider me the shaman of the family, of the tribe. So I had to learn all of our Native American culture from the time I was about 4 or 5 years old. So I know what plants you can use to eat, what berries you can use, what leaves you can use to make medicines and things of that nature. Things for cuts and scrapes and burns, and so I am fluent in our Native American medicine, and so I had to teach him, or I had to take him out to do his vision quest because his father is not Native American. He has gone to quite a few of the what everybody calls powwows.
Yeah.
And he has been to a few of those. He does listen to Native American flute music and other types of Native American music. And he is starting to use our Native American culture, and he accepts that part of his life. He doesn't accept his father's way of life. So mom's always been there. It's just been me and him from the time he was born. So his dad didn't want anything to do with him. He wanted more to do with drugs and alcohol than he wanted to be a dad. So mom has always been the strong one.
Well, you're doing well. Anyone who has gone through that, no judgment. You're doing well.
I'm trying.
Now, with that said, I would like to share with you what I have come to understand as for how the Native American pipe came to be, for why we breathe the fire. And I actually do have great grandparents who were Native American, either half or full. So I do have, the bloodline in me, but obviously it's not about the color of your skin; it's about the color of your heart. But
exactly.
with that said, I want to show you where that came to be. Most likely, I was studying in Antarctica. Well, not in Antarctica, but I was studying Antarctica in my studies on Google Earth. And if you think about Antarctica as having a face to it, and the pedestal of it, basically, like South America is off to one side, the pedestal I refer to it. If you look at the lower right corner, you will see an earthwork that's approximately 200 miles long.
Wow.
Of a dragon. And as you can see, those wings, the wings of the dragon, are upon Florida and going up to the Great Lakes. So to sail upon the dragon would be to sail upon the wings as you learn how to navigate the world. And the reason
Yep.
why the tongue is so important is because in the old days, the gods would spit out creation through their tongues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as for the Atlantean people, the sailors of Atlas, this is most likely in reference to the Atlantean settlement in Antarctica, and it is most likely in association to the Asian dragon gods. And there's actually a dragon god in Asia that is the god that the dragon, the guardian of the heavens. And as you can
Yep.
see, the head of the dragon goes towards the Bering Strait, quite literally the guardian of the heavens.
Right.
So, what does this mean? The dragon of North America. And by the way, the tail also, I'm pretty sure the tail makes a formation as well. I don't have it quite visible here, but that's like the beginnings of South America. I'd have to get a different picture to show you. Um, but why is why the face for the coast of North America for the western face over in California? Why the big face at the top of the world, basically over by Canada? Which one was natural? Are they both natural? And I honestly don't think that these things are entirely natural for their formations. Maybe a little more so with the Canadian face, just because it's so cold. But as for the face in California, people have been reshaping the lands since the dawn of time. Basically, as soon as they learned how to navigate and saw the faces of it, they would reshape the lands, and we know this because thousands of years ago, in the I I think it's the Moai um, at Easter Island, they would tell stories about how the long ears would go to reshape the lands. They would say, let's create more land over here. And how would they do that? They would go to the mountain and they would carve the mountain. And then they'd bring those
Right.
rocks into the waters. And then they'd be able to shape new lands for themselves. The Native Americans have stories of the people who came over here in stone boats. Were they talking about metal boats like today, or maybe the UFOs? Maybe, but think about it.
Maybe.
Stone boats, people could have quite possibly come from afar carrying boats with all sorts of stones on them, or carrying stones in their boats, and then they could work
Right.
to reshape the lands. So that's a possibility, and as people do that, they would be able to reshape entire coastlines. It's not
Yep.
something that is infeasible. That is not feasible at all. It's very possible because I've already shown you just how massive these earthworks are. Um,
Yeah.
but I'll go to Google Earth and I'll show you the tail for so here's the dragon and you see the tail. I will turn the tail on its side and you'll see that it does look like South America.
Yeah.
So, similar at least.
Yeah.
But for the one to be North America and for the other to be the basic formation for South America, it's like, is that a coincidence?
Mm-mm.
Do you think? I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't.
No.
I've found all sorts of things down there. It's incredible. Because they've literally mapped everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you stop and think about it, all of these voyagers, when they were making the maps to go from one place to another, they would always put in some sort of creature. And if you stop and think about it, you know, like the Kraken, giant squid, you know, or, you know, they were worried about dragons landing on their boats and taking them off, you know. One of my elders would always talk about how Mother Earth, when she became, or before she became who she came as a white calf, and then she was reborn into a woman. And, you know, that's how we all got started. But they talk about how when we communicate with Mother Earth or one of our gods, you know, they always say that sometimes our gods come down to visit with us to give us more understanding. And could that possibly be aliens? Could it be our gods? You know, who's to say?
Well, yeah, the alien part is just, I don't know. See, like, for a long time, I was having what they would call negative abduction, but then all of a sudden I had a positive abduction. Now, I think, like, maybe there's, like, good and evil in that as well. I mean, I do recall seeing beings that look like me and you, blonde
Right?
hair, long blonde hair, um, and it appeared to look like a human, but they had all these abilities. They were from other planets, so I
Right?
don't know how to look at that. Sometimes I'm just like, everybody, when you say alien, they automatically assume gray with oval shaped eyes, or, no.
Not always. Not always.
No, that's what I'm saying. And then there you go with the dragon thing, right? You got also reptilians. Where did they come
Exactly. You know,
from?
but
Why, why would these reptiles want to get involved with our government? What is I mean, and I'm not talking anonymous and QAnon and all that stuff either. I'm talking real lives that I've even seen with my own eyes, raised by they call them the Dracos. They're like winged reptilians.
God only
And,
knows.
it scared the hell out of me. So I
Right?
I don't know. They won't come out during the day. They're under the ground. Okay, this is the thing. Sean Bond talks about this. Is it depends on how deep you go. You can go to a point where there's gigantic spiders, into the ground. It depends on how deep you go. Like, it's weird. It's really weird what lives under the ground. and it makes you wonder. And a lot of times, this stuff is built into the military-industrial complex. So when we look at that, why is it that if somebody's just researching, let's say like Gabriel goes and researches something, right? You know, they're all, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? You know, like what, why is it that they try to hide a lot of these things from us? You know, knowing that eventually somebody's going to crack the truth wide open. And when they crack that truth wide open, there's nothing nobody can do to stop whatever the outcome is when people really find out that, you know, we weren't crazy, you know, these things really took place. I kind of look at that sometimes and I say to myself, it's difficult stuff. Difficult to talk about it because, you know, people laugh and they say, oh, yeah, that sounds crazy. Oh, yeah, that, you know, is, you know, you're using your imagination, Rocco. You know, but I know deep down inside that it's my own truth. So I've gotten to that point where I just don't, I don't, if you believe me, you believe me. If you don't, you don't. And that's your choice. I don't push my belief on anybody. I just talk about what I believe to have happened to me when I was a child, you know, and in other lifetimes as well. It seems you can get trapped into all these different realms. You got the Oz realm, you have the, you know, I've been in those realms. They're not pretty. They're definitely not pretty, especially
That hurt.
and me and Sean are going to go into that a little bit further soon.
I just made a discovery.
Oh yeah.
You're
So
talking
you
about,
just like sit on Google Maps and like stuff will just pop out at you.
yeah, when you when Crystal said that white buffalo calf woman, you know, started out as a calf and then became a woman, something popped out to me. I was thinking about the stories of navigation, and I was thinking, what if the Greenland bear could have doubled as a calf? And so I went to take a picture of it, and I went to chart the lines of navigation.
Are you kidding me?
You see it?
I see it. I see it.
Well, yeah, yeah. You, that's the whole thing with earthwork. It's a lot different than what I talk about, and it's a lot more complex. It seems, and it's a lot more like in depth type stuff that you gotta explain. There's so much history behind it. It's like, you know, yeah, maybe, you know, a lot of this stuff, military stuff, seems to happen around as well. I think it has to do with being in such a preserved, a lot of these areas, like Montauk alone is 90% preserved, the land. So, we had Teddy Roosevelt.
That's really weird.
We had them quarantined out there when they got, I guess, what was it, Spanish flu? I think they got some kind
The
of
Spanish influenza, yeah.
And Teddy Roosevelt rode horses all the way to Montauk. My friend tracked down that trail and was like, whoa. Like, he said the energy was pretty strong. But, I mean, then you got all this occult stuff that goes on. Well, it's like everybody has their like knack at what they're really trying to expose or not exposed. In my case, yeah, exposed because it's top level type stuff that they do not want public to know, because it can damage their career. And unfortunately, they have to learn one way or another. That's how I look at it.
Right.
I don't think that kids, should have been taken just because of their lineages. I mean, just disgusting. Inhumane. But then again, I mean, dating back in history, like Gabriel going back far in history, there was similar stuff going on. So this has been going on since the beginning of time. It just amplifies every time a change happens. Like, I feel like it amps. Like they're trying to, you know, throw us off. I mean, look with all these storms and look at this. I mean, and yes, I do believe weather control. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's crazy how fast the storm can just stop, Or one part of the town can be pouring down rain and the other part of the town is sunshine.
Yep.
To me, that leaves me with the question of, I still question, I don't really question it anymore because of that one incident that I had where it was raining on one side, and then on one side of me, it wasn't raining. The side I was on, it wasn't raining, but I could see a wall of rain.
Right.
It was intense. It was like, I could feel like that they were just trying to, I don't know who was doing it. Like I said, people can even influence the weather.
Yep. Yep.
It's all these gifts we have, but a lot of us, I've noticed a lot of us have abused those gifts. That's me including. So, because when you have all that power within, you start expressing it and using it. People see it. And some people adapt to it okay, and other people don't. They further themselves from you.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, I try to sometimes. But
Can I
there's
tell you
so
more
many.
about how these people settled in the Great Lakes?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay.
How the hell they settled?
Well, in order to understand the Atlantean people, we have to look at the Native American story of Nana Bush. So I'm saying that correctly, right? Nana Bush?
You are.
Thank you. So as we know, the great turtle, which came up from the waters to produce land, what I've come to understand is that when you start out in North America, you look to Hudson Bay and you have the turtle. When you go to the eye, it's basically one of those sunset lines of direction. And you can actually take the eye of the turtle all the way to the boat islands, is what I call them, because when you look at the goddess Nut in the ancient Egyptian um, descriptions for the Mediterranean Sea, you have to think about, well, it's not only the Mediterranean Sea, it's a whole bunch of seas which wrap around Africa. But the face looks towards Egypt, the breasts towards Libya, obviously the arms, those are that's the Red Sea and the gulfs thereof, hence God parting the rivers you can cross. Well, when you go to the when you go to where the arrow points from the eye of direction, you will actually see on the Egyptian murals a boat by the legs of the goddess Nut. Nu for
Yep.
water, U for the wall, for the to represent the neck of the tongue region and how that goes down because it's kind of like a fork type thing. And then you have the T to represent the letter tall, which is supposed to go like this across the Mediterranean to showcase the navigating up through Sardinia and all that. So that would have been like the boat crossing the sea or the people who pass on
Mhm.
dry land crossing the sea. They crossed on dry land. Really? Yes, the seas parted. So that would have been in reference to um, where the sea quite literally parts. For that interpretation, I do have to go into this detail. It's important because the bullhead of Libya is in reference to the letter Aleph for the bowl. And then you go to the letter Lamed for the shape of Italy. And how do you learn? You learn by your walk. You learn by the boot of Italy, Doi. So Aleph,
Yep.
Lamed, that's L right there, as in Elohim, as in God, as in Michael, as in Gabriel, as in Raphael. So then you go to the wall for the next letter, which I already described to you how it makes that hook, and then you go all the way down to Tunisia um, to where the seas part. And then you go to the hay, which the feet, hold on, The feet branch off into the breasts of the goddess Nut. There's a rounded region around Italy and Greece, and then you can think about the arm for the one side going up where Sardinia is, and the other going into the waters of Greece. So that quite literally makes the hay formation. It's like that's the hay. Like even the legs are split. It's perfect, and that's also a very good representation for Christ because of the crown of thorns region by Italy and Greece. How you split through all those different lands and islands and all that. Banks of Enlightenment, you know. And then you go to the Yod for the next letter in Elohim for the Red Sea because it literally looks like a hand that is grasping. It's in the same shape exactly. Yeah, I might have to turn it on its side um, to showcase it better, but that describes the letter
Yeah.
Yod. And then you go over here to Mount Jebel Musa over in Morocco. And when you go to Mount Jebel Musa, you will actually see that the lands are shaped in a way um, where you navigate around the mountains. So you navigate like this, it makes a W, and then you go down like this, and then it shows you where the water is, where the lake. So that is the great split rock of Moses that the people go to, and then everybody's watered because it shows you how to go to the lake in addition to how to navigate around the mountain. But it's also at the Strait of Gibraltar region where all the waters flow around Europe and Africa and Asia Minor. For that region, for the waters above the earth concept for the heavenly goddess Nut for the waters that go around. So it's like Aleph, Lamed shows you how to cross the sea, and then you learn the wall, the head, the yod for how to navigate that way as well. It's like how did all of this come to be at the Great Split Rock, where the rock where God was so great in his wanting people to be watered that he split a rock, and water came forth from it and bled the earth with water. So that is the concept of Elohim or Elohim, depending on how you say it. Okay, so that is
Right.
new for water. By the way, that's also how you get to the water. New. It's very similar to the Mem. Sorry, the last one is Mem. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that, but Mem for the mountain. So Elohim.
Right.
Uh, so anyway, why is this so important to go into detail? When we look at the Great Lakes, but by the way, here are what I refer to as the boat islands in West Africa. There are some islands just right off of West Africa's Atlantis Kingdom. And again, you take the sunset line of direction from the head of the turtle because you show the eye shows you where to go, it shows you how to sail, and you go
Right.
to the islands and all that. So the reason why I went into the goddess Nut so specifically is because when we look at Lake Superior, what does this look like to you? Kind of looks like a face, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and when you think about that, think about how the waters which wrap around Africa are formed. Let's take a look at this again. Now we're going to zoom up. We're going to zoom in. We're going to zoom in over here by the head of the turtle. And sure enough, there is this basically kind of like a hand concept, which appears to grasp the turtle's head almost. And I don't know how well you can see that concept, but let me show you from another point of view. Do you think that kind of looks like a hand, like a thumb and some fingers?
Yeah.
And here we go to zoom out. As you can see, that came from, you know, kind of like the same arm type region.
Right.
And when we look at this area over here, if we were to correct it, here is a corrected view, north and south and all that. But if we go to look at this region right here, it kind of looks like there's a bunch of legs, like rivers, that is, to shape the legs. And what this means most likely is that some of these rivers might have actually been carved out to some extent, or maybe the rivers were redirected. And when we think about this, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I was just looking at this region of land right here, and it actually kind of looks like a foot. See that?
It does look like a foot.
I'm going to see where this is. Hold on. Map style. Exploration. Montreal! There you go. It's in Montreal. So it looks like Montreal. It looks like those.
Montreal,
Yep.
Quebec, Canada.
Yep. It looks like those rivers might have been carved by the ancient earthworkers. So I'm going to place a marker basically on that leg right there on the foot so you still see it. And I'm going to zoom out.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's the foot, and I already showed you the hand by the head. So you have a head, you have a body, you have a
Yeah.
hand, you have a foot. Who is that person? Well, in one of the interpretations, it sounds like it might be Nana Bush for one of the stories, because Nana Bush is with the turtle, right? And so is the
Right.
muskrat. Now, I don't know exactly where the muskrat is for over here for this interpretation. Um, I will have to keep looking, but I do know that when we go to Europe, that over in France, there is a muskrat formation to the earth just by the natural shape of the lands. And
Right.
it's over by France's Jersey, close to that. But when we go to take a look along the coast, but by the way, there's the muskrat concept just for reference. When we go over here to the Netherlands, there is actually a face formation to the Netherlands. And if you can see along the face, it does look like there's a lot of rivers carved out for ancient sailors. Now, if we
Right.
go to zoom out a little bit, that face, the head really enlarges. Well, the thing about the Egyptians and their concept of God, and by the way, take a look at how that head enlarges. Do you see how the triangular concept
Yeah.
and that circular concept at the tip of that triangle?
Yeah.
Well, it can be viewed as a triangle or a circle. The thing about the Egyptians is with their great god, Lord Atum, there's the sun formation on top, right?
Right.
But then when we looked at Atlantis Kingdom and we saw the face of Atlantis Kingdom, we saw that when we go to the tip of that triangular region for this part right here, it does appear to make a circular formation, like what I showed you close to the Netherlands, and that actually how far that went up, exploration, that actually goes into Amsterdam, Germany. Um,
Mhm.
so like you can see that for where that goes into.
Yeah.
Close to it's over by Brimhaven. Bremerhaven, Bremerhaven. By Bremen. um, by Bremen, by Bremen. Anyway, the face though, that's over by the. I'll show you that it's over by the Netherlands, because it says Netherlands over there. Um, yeah. I don't know about the geography. If the I know the Netherlands are basically like their own. Yeah, they're their own country. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. It's just that on Google Earth, when we see the Netherlands and Germany, there's this one section that's kind of weird where the line kind of just drops off, and I don't know if that's because of the water. I'm guessing it's just because of the water. Yeah, it's because of the water. Um,
Probably. Yeah.
yeah. Um, okay. So the crown region does appear that it might be, yeah, the crown region is in Germany, but the face is in the Netherlands. Um, but when we go to look at the face of Canada for North America, take a look at that crown. When you go to take a really close look at that crown, you will see that there is a circular region to it. And I will zoom in further for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it comes to the crown of enlightenment, and by the way, this is really cool. Um, it, when you get to that circular region and you zoom in, it does look like there is a serpent, the head of a serpent.
Uh-huh.
So that would have likely been associated with the serpent, which goes to swallow the whole world, because when we
Right.
look at North America, the Norse story is that the flying serpent, why is the serpent flying? Well, think about the dragon, right? Um, when we go to um, Yucatan, the Yucatan Peninsula, what does the Yucatan Peninsula look like? Kind of looks like a snake head.
Yep.
Let me get a clear picture. So when we go to zoom
Yeah.
out from the snake, the body is North America. The body of
Right.
North America is associated with the flying dragon of the heavens. So it's the flying dragon. And so this is the concept of that, great serpent which goes to swallow the world. And here I have evidence that the the waterways of
Do
navigation
you mind
for
not rubbing your head up against my leg? You're scaring the crap out of me, kitty cat.
so here we have white
My
buffalo
cat
capital
keeps.
with Greenland and all that, and starting out as a white calf.
A white
That could,
white calf.
that's a play on the concept of not only Greenland being all snowy, but that would have also been an association with the white brothers and sisters of Norway and all that for how you travel from Europe to North America through the Northern Passage,
Right.
and how the calf eventually becomes a woman with eventually what comes to be with the Nana Bush story. And resting in the Netherlands. And as for who the turtle is, well, let's take a look at France. Keep in mind, the muskrat is upon the turtle, riding upon the back of the turtle. And when we look at the coast of France, it very much does look like it's the head of a turtle,
Yeah.
and that there's a muskrat riding upon it. So that story of navigation from White Buffalo Calf Woman to Nana Bush shows you how to navigate the world.
Yep.
Sailors of Atlas. Now, I did show you Atlas on the last show, right?
Yep.
There's other interpretations too that I'll have to show you. Now, I'm working on it actually right now.
You still with us there, Rocco?
Yo, Rocco.
I think he fell asleep on us.
Dang it.
That's okay. He's done this. He's done this more times on me than. And people used to give him crap over it. And I told him, I said, if I cared anything about him falling asleep, trust me, you guys would know about it.
Yeah, if he's tired, it's best to just let him sleep.
Yep. So what I'll do is put him, take him off the screen, put him in the green room or backstage. So
So, based on what I've shared with you so far, I mean, how does this make you feel about your history for your Native American heritage?
more understanding about my cultural history. I actually did not know much on our cultural history, and seeing all of that has put a lot of it into perspective that I did know. So,
Yeah.
which was which is very, very cool.
Well, that's good. That's what I'm really aiming for is to make something that is cool and entertaining. And I think that the stories that our ancestors provided us with are truly some of the most entertaining stories of all time, um, because of how wild they are.
It is. It really is. I mean, how we all came to be, and and then seeing that tonight was like, wow.
Yeah. gonna do something right here. I'm just doing a quick edit on a possible interpretation for the Atlas formation.
Scamps, me and you are gonna fight over this damn blanket. Stop rubbing up against my leg. Damn.
I mean, there's something that I want to show that I think can relate, because it sometimes does depend on how the Earth is positioned. Hold on.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the Atlas formation in Mauritania, it does kind of look like, for example, the ball formation at the bottom. It does kind of look like how the islands can pass through that.
Uh-huh.
And then there's also
Right.
another concept for the back of the Atlas creature holding the world. And when you look at Europe, there's actually a
Right.
tree formation concept in Europe. So it's kind of like how there's a tree on the back of the Atlas creature.
Right.
Now, what I do know from the feet were likely supposed to be more interpretational for this region over here in North America, but it doesn't quite match up. So what does that mean? It could mean that the feet were simply trying to describe travel from North America to Europe. So that's a possibility. And as we
Or
see,
what they
we're,
call land bridge.
yeah. But I do know that there is a better interpretation for this over in North America. And I'll take a picture of that Atlas formation. Actually, I'll show you the. I'll just go to the ones that I've already made. Hold on. It'll only take a moment for me to find this.
Okay.
You can count if you like. Go from a minute. Oh, hold on. Found it. Sorry for not giving you time.
That's okay.
Okay. But when we look at the Atlas formation in North America, you see where that is, how it traverses from New Mexico to, I think, Arizona and California and
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
See that would have been artificial, and they would have made that through deforestation. And I think I covered this on the last one.
It almost looks like a face.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But they would have used this to showcase how to navigate the top of the world. And in the Greek story of Atlas, Atlas was basically a great sea creature, Titan god, I think. Either a god or Titan god. I think it was a Titan god. And they turned him into a mountain. And actually, I think I demonstrated on the last episode how we do see the Atlas formation across Asia. Um,
Right.
I'll show that again in a moment. Hold on. It's on the way. Hold on. Okay, here it is. But as you can see, they made that formation in Asia too, and it faces towards the
Is your
direction.
take on
What is my take on what?
the Himalayan salt lamps?
Well, Himalayan salt lamps are perfectly fine as long as it's, good salt, because sometimes that salt comes from other places, and the concern that I have is that if people start to break down that salt, um, would be the mineral content, because not all Himalayan salt is from the Himalayas, and I think that's perfectly fine. That's beautiful. Um, some of the salt I've heard is from more Middle Eastern countries, and I think that's fine too. It just really depends on the mineral content for if you're actually like eating the stuff and licking it and whatnot. Uh,
I
but it's perfect.
actually, I had a company, I I just had a company send me this to review, and I haven't even plugged it in yet. I took it out of the box, took the plastic off of it, um, but I have not plugged it in because I'm not quite sure how I should use it. um,
Just use it as a nightlight.
my daughter has one, my oldest daughter, and she uses it to help her sleep at night.
That's good.
And
As long as it's not improperly made, then it shouldn't catch fire or anything. Should be fine.
what was the name of the company? The company is called The Body Source.
Yeah.
Um, ah, this one is not the Himalayan salt. It's made in Pakistan.
Pakistan. Yep. I was thinking that they're either made in Pakistan or Iran for some of the salt mines, um, because I knew that they would, as I told you, that they would get the salt from some of those countries as well.
but they wanted me to review it, and I'm like, I don't know how I should use it. Should I use it at night at bedtime? Should I use it when I, turn it on when when I come in from work? I'm like, or when I wake up, or so I'm like, I'll give it a try, but I mean, I just didn't know how to use it, when to use it. So
The best answer is anytime is the best time.
true.
But I wanted to show you how the story of Nana Bush again links up with the Sailors of Atlas. Um, do you see this? How this formation can match in Africa with the Ankh of Egypt for the circular region and the tail and the rest of it?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the Mediterranean, you look at it on right there like that.
Uh-huh.
Let me go to Google Earth. And when you look at the Mediterranean, it basically looks like the shin formation that the Hebrews use. Now, an older style of the shin, which is basically the concept of the letter 3, is shaped more like this. And we find this in West Africa. You see that? Hey, you froze on me for a moment. Was I frozen for you too? Okay, you're freezing up on me again. Could be my computer. Can you hear me?
Oh, is it raining again? Please say it's done raining. I'm so
Can you hear
tired
me?
of all this rain already. Yeah,
Okay.
my internet is being a pain in the butt right now because we're still getting rain.
Okay.
So my internet on my phone is going a little wonky.
Mm.
All right, 3 down. Oh, 3 cards down.
Mm.
None to go. I am done writing cards tonight.
So something that's worth mentioning for how the sailors of Atlas, the sailors of Atlantis, are associated with the North Americans is based on the concept of Nana Bush that I showed you.
Right?
What is Nana Bush in Phoenician? New water, aleph, strength. New water, aleph, strength. And then we have Bush. So we have the bet concept, which would have been associated with the Sardinia region, and the letter bet can actually be shaped in a couple different ways and match that region. Um, and then there is the Wa for the neck of the great god, and then going down like that for the letter Wa, and then the the shin, which looks pretty much like how this is shaped, like the letter hey, only you think about just the concept of the three.
Right.
And that concept of the three is likely associated with the sons and daughters of Noah. So there's actually a three concept over here in West Africa that when we go to zoom out, that's at the neck or bosom, even you could say, of the face. And so we have the concept of Abraham's bosom, which we can actually find over in East Egypt. Let me get to this face. Hold on. Okay. You'll see a face and a breasted formation, and that breast would have been associated with Creator God, but also Abraham, because you go to Abraham's bosom to take you to
Right.
paradise. And when you go to Abraham's bosom, it actually shows you how to navigate to South America. And I can show you. I can show you a better concept um, for South America. I'll have to get it on my phone. Um, but first, I need to address the new concept for the water. So when we look at the concept of one of the creator God concepts for the story, um, we have the water god here, so the new, we have the water. And then we have this region here for, let's see, what is it? I know it's Canada, but what part of Canada? What we are looking at is Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador. So this region. So you see how this
Right.
region goes up like that, and then you can navigate across?
Yeah.
When you have that V concept and it goes across like that, that's actually the letter Aleph. It's a different interpretation for it. Supposedly a later interpretation, because the original interpretation was that of an ox, like what we see at Libya, Tunisia, and Algeria, underneath the breasted region for the goddess Nut. So as you can
Yep.
see, there's definitely an ox concept for that. So we have a water goddess and the letter Aleph again. So
Yeah.
na from one side of the world to the other side of the world.
Right.
And then we have the letter Bet for home, which can be represented by the Tyrrhenian Sea and basically
They're
the
not coming
waters
out.
which go from Spain to Italy, but not quite Spain, not quite that region. It's more like it's just basically the waters which wrap around Sardinia, um, just due west of Italy and part of Italy. But that region makes the letter Bet, and that means house. And then you have the
Right.
wall, and then the shin. And when you have the wall and the shin, you have the body of of the waters for the northern regions of Africa between Europe and Africa. So for the wall and the shin, but what that wall and shin, even bet wall shin in that order, it would have represented the house which creates or produces, because the birth canal of the goddess Nut is over by the Strait of Gibraltar, hence the wall associated with Nebuchadnezzar, hence the crying of the child. And then you have the Shin for the sons of Noah and the three worlds concept for the three main ways of passage, because you would have North America over here, Africa over there, and Asia over there. So that's kind of like the three worlds concept. And if you were to navigate simply the Atlantic Ocean, you'd also have a three worlds concept with Africa, North America, and South America. So the sailors are three. And then when you go to North America, there is also a Shin concept for a three formation, which can be found here. And when you go to, places in that region, you'll find things in groups of three, built by very ancient peoples. And some of these peoples are like, okay, who built these very large structures with these three windows in it? What's the deal with that? And it's like, those are the sons of Noah. That's like who the people were. They were the people of the three worlds. They were the people of the Shin. They were the people of Noah, the children of Noah. Um, the ones who are associated with the Atlanteans, the great sailors. So that's who those people would have been. And the reason for how that came to be, most likely, is because when we go to the Caleb this sea all the way in Indonesia. I want you to see this. I'm going to take the words away for a moment, but just to show you where it is. You'll see that it branches out into a three formation. And the reason why this is important is because when we look at Australia, it kind of looks like almost like a bearded face, kind of like a crowned king with a beard to him. I'm going to get to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
But then we get to the square region over by Indonesia and the Philippines and all that. I think Philippines too. So you have the face, you have basically the house where the sons of Noah go into. And then you have this dome concept for Asia. And when you go to Japan, there are some very ancient structures in Japan. And I can actually make some overlays for the Eye of Ra, and I will show you that. I may have showed you that before. But then when you go to the passage between Asia and North America, when you look towards North America, it basically makes a bird formation for the head.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to show you next is really cool, because over in Mauritania, we kind of have this formation also. You have to think about the lines near the bottom as a face, and those three lines
Yeah.
are kind of like a jaw, a mouth, and then like where the nose goes to be, and
Yeah.
it kind of goes into a crown, sort of. So it's similar, but then
Mm-hmm.
and then this region here, so it's kind of like squared off almost. But then there's
Yeah.
a bump for like the eyebrow, and then
Right.
as I showed you before, it can also be thought of as a bird head. But when the story of Noah came to pass, we also see a similarity here. They said that the boat, this is actually like really zoomed in. I'll show you exactly where it is right there. right there to the left of the eye. They say that
Yeah.
the ark came upon some rocks. This would have meant that the ark became rocks. Um,
Petrified wood. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
It
so that
landed on, what was it? Would it say Mount Ararat?
that would have been used more as a reference point to describe that's a different interpretation. I can get into that, and I will. But first, this is basically like a face formation, going that way to below the waters, basically. And there's even this bird formation concept on top of the head. Um,
Yeah.
so that's cool. But then when we go to zoom out and we go to look at the boat, you see how there's that face formation looking that way.
Right.
So I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit more. All right. Now I'm going to zoom out like, and then we see the squared off region right here. You'll see that it's really,
Yeah.
and basically you see that triangle. That's likely,
Uh-huh.
that's likely in reference to actually navigating Asia, because Asia can also be viewed as a triangle to some extent. But then they get to that squared region because after the face, you get to the squared region over here in Asia, and what really seals the deal for there's the squared region, but what really seals the deal for this being a concept for the Ark of Noah is that here we have a raven formation for the head, and that would have been associated with Ma'at, who hovers over the waters. And as I showed you, Ma'at does appear to form in North America, but then there's also the pigeon for Thoth, right next to Ma'at.
Yeah.
And in Noah's story, there's a raven and a pigeon. But then they also
Yeah.
talk about the Nana Bush story with the 5 water birds, right?
Right.
So you have the raven, right? Ma'at. And then you have Thoth, the pigeon with the short face, which actually resembles North America. I will show you in a different one. But then you also have Osiris. You also have God as the eagle, and
Hmm.
then you also have Nebuchadnezzar, who would have been viewed as the vulture who branches out upon the neck of God, hence making a covenant with God. And when we go
Right.
to look at Mauritania for that region where the face was that I showed you earlier, that actually
The
very
gum
much
beans.
that resembles that resembles Portugal and Spain for up here to some extent, just to some extent, but then the projection would have showcased how to travel to the Azores Islands. So making a covenant with God, passing through death, the god Set, the horse-faced god, traveling through the desert. Um, and I'll show you it in 3 minutes that this face for the pigeon of Thoth is actually a face for North America. Hold on.
Hmm.
But according to the Egyptians, Thoth had a long beak. Now, if we think
Right.
about where Thoth is, and we think about the sand dune tablets as being the tablets of Thoth, um, the, the Thoth shows you where to go, shows you um, he is supposed to protect the traveler and the singer of songs. Who's that? That's the Hebrews. The Hebrews were the
Right.
people whose song and how they shared their story.
Right.
And they were the travelers. So here, Moses and the Ten Commandments, and here we have the tablets. Moses has not one tablet, right? He has two, doesn't he?
He had at one point he had three, but he dropped one.
Well, he had two tablets holding up to the people. Hence the
10 Commandments.
exactly. So I am going to get a good picture of North America that's already stored on my phone here, and I am going to overlay it for you. Because I am not going to go through the hassle of taking a picture and getting another one when I just have to find it.
Right.
All right. This is going to trip your mind to no end thinking about North America as a big bird. It's going to be crazy looking. Hold on. Trust me.
Ow! Really? All right.
Now it's looking pretty. Hold on.
Don't. No. Leave it alone. No. Leave that alone. Me and you were going to go round and round about my salt rock now. You need to leave it alone.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So here's the bird, all right?
Right. Wow.
And then you add the beak to Thoth, so he has a long beak, and then he'll take you to Newfoundland. So the bird goes to drink
What the?
from the waters, and he has an olive branch in his mouth, right? Well, the thing is
Uh-huh.
that olive branch is likely Florida, the leaf. So Florida is most likely the leaf of the olive branch from the Noah story, showcasing people how to travel to paradise, to new land.
So Florida's supposed to be paradise?
Well, it's supposed to be the new world because Noah traveled the waters and then he found the new
Right.
land, new world. I mean, even in today's language, they still call it the new world, which is a crock of you know what. But hey,
Uh-huh. Yep. I was doing some historical research on Florida when the whole thing about who discovered America first, Christopher Columbus, the Vikings, or the Spanish. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, Florida, the natives in Florida, the Seminoles, were not full-blooded Indian.
yeah,
There were I hate using I there were black Native Americans,
yeah,
or
West
black
African American.
Seminoles. There were, you know, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm going, wait a minute. Even the Spaniards didn't discover Florida first. You had those, you had the black Seminoles.
Right,
So even if Ponce de Leon was to become the discoverer of Florida, La Florida, um, he really didn't discover Florida first.
right,
You had black people that came over here before came over to Florida before the Spaniards got here, and they integrated with the Seminoles.
that's right.
Because if you stop and think about it, the chief of the Seminoles was not a Native American. He was black.
Yeah,
So, and it's stated in St. Augustine when the Spaniards brought him to St. Augustine before they killed him. You
yeah,
know, and it had to have been blacks, the Africans that came over and discovered Florida first,
right.
because they integrated with the natives.
Right.
Look, Stamps. Hey, hey, get down. Thank you. And so, you know, who they need to actually correct the history books. You know, I was taught that it was Ponce de Leon that discovered Florida. Then they tried to correct that and said, "Oh no, he didn't discover the Americas. It was Christopher Columbus in 1492 or 1496 or whatever." I'm going, no, it was neither one of them. Ponce de Leon was looking for the fountain of youth and never found it. Christopher Columbus discovered the freaking Bahamas or whatever. It was the Africans that came over and discovered the Seminoles.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that you can just keep going back farther and farther and farther and farther. It's like who really discovered it, and it's like people always knew. That's the thing, because many thousands of years ago, there really did used to be a land bridge that connected North America to Asia. So
Yep.
we look at the Hebrew flood story, and it said, and the world was one in those days.
Yeah.
They walked over, and then you have the stories of the Maui, not Maui, the Moai, sorry. But notice how similar that is.
Moai.
Maui,
Yeah.
and what's that? Mem, Wa, Ayin, the Ayin for the eyes, so that's the mountain which creates the
Right.
sight. And they're talking about the sight from Lord Atum or Nana Bush, whoever you want to call it, to show the way. And that the Moai, they walked upon the lands. It's like, how did they get to where they were? They walked them. And they obviously showed on the documentaries that they can move the statues and wobble them and walk them. And that would have been in reference to the water walkers, the people who can traverse the seas. And here we have that association with Sardinia, the area of land separating, well, not truly separating, but basically creating a separation between one side and the other for the waters which wrap around Africa for the northern regions, for the Mediterranean, and basically close to that region. Um, I don't know if it bumps up against the Mediterranean. I think it does, because there's like different seas in there. Um, but those are the water walkers, and they said that the long-eared people had red and blonde hair, or brown and blonde hair. I think it was red and blonde hair. It's like we see a similarity with that with the people of Peru, the Peruvians. Um, Going back to the Olmecs, I think maybe how I think it's.
Yeah.
I know the Mayans came way later, but still not too much later. Still hundreds of years later, but when we think about the many thousands and thousands of years of Atlantean history, for the sailors of Atlas, I mean, we go to Europe where there's blonde and red hair. And what do the helmets of the people, um, the Greeks and the Romans? They have those long shields extending from their ear region, the long-eared people. And then you have Buddha with long ears. This most likely would have been in
Mhm.
reference to being long to listening, but it also likely would have been in reference to the shapes of the lands. But before I get to that, allow me to show you, um, that the projects I'm working on. Hold on. So I showed you the bird before. I also want to show you that they also, um, that it also looks like they did, South America too below the bird.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, I found what the Easter Island heads are talking about. This photo, I think, was on National Geographic. Maybe I have to look at the original because I do have to reference the photographer here. Hold on. The photographer is Jim Richardson, National Geographic. So I went to reverse the photo that he took a picture of because I wanted to see the island head from the other way. So this picture is going to be reversed. Hold on. This is one of the potential interpretations. I'll show you another interpretation that's far better, but you will see that the land regions for the jawline do appear to match at least, and that where the nose region is, let's see where
Right.
that shows you like the general direction of travel from the mainland to the islands. But I'm going to show you a different formation that is obviously a lot clearer. Hold on. And when you see it, you're never going to be able to unsee this thing again. You're never going to be able to look at West Africa the same way again. I think I got it. I think I got it. Hold on. I think it's good. This is what the Easter Island head was in reference to.
Oh, wow.
I revealed to the world the origins of the Moai, the sailors of Atlantis Kingdom.
Oh my God. Yeah, I definitely will not look at Africa the same way again.
And remember, the photographer for that was Jim Richardson, National Geographic.
Wow. So he even got it.
I don't think he did. I never met with him. I never spoke with him. I saw this picture online and I saw his name attached to it. Thank goodness, so I could reference him. And you'll see that even the long ears match for the lands.
Yeah.
So, the origins of the Moai and the origins of the Peruvians. There's something else that I want to show you pertaining to the sleeping Samson. I have to find it in my phone. This could be a moment. I have to scroll through a couple hundred photos. I think I'm going to show you the frog next. Give me a moment here.
Okay.
Wrong photo, but still interesting. I have a lot of photos. I may have to go to my Facebook. Oh, wait. Found it. Found it. Okay, so have you ever seen the sleeping Samson mountain in Peru?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, are you familiar with this formation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, take a look at this.
Okay.
Do you see how there are two faces incorporated? The face of Atlantis Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
So, like, you can see that even the eye of Atlantis is carved into the mountain rock.
Yep.
And how where the tip ends, so too is that with the mountain, with that dark tipped region.
Yep. Oh, wow.
And you can see sort of where the neck is for how they showcased how to travel down from the mouth
Mm-hmm.
area. So that's Peru.
Wow.
Atlantis Kingdom.
Wow. Well, we've been going 3 hours, 11 minutes, and we are down to one person in the house. It is 1:56 my time. And we already lost our host because he fell asleep on us. So I'm going to go ahead and end this 3 hours and 11-minute stream. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow night if Rocco messages me and wants to do it. But I have church in the morning. And I should be back home probably by noon. If I don't get called to volunteer to lead a group of people around our old courthouse. I usually do that Wednesday mornings, and sometimes I do it on Sundays when the place is closed too, so it's only like a 10-minute thing. I have been in this town for 4 years, and I know more history of this town. I know all of the history on this town than anybody who was born and raised here. And that's sad. That tells you something. But I am going to end this for tonight, guys. We will try and see you guys again, hopefully tomorrow night. And then you guys will not see me on Monday. I work from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until after 11 o'clock at night. I won't get home until almost midnight. So, but we will see you guys again probably tomorrow night. Anything you have left to say?
If you guys want to fund me, go to my website, the Reiki Master Team. Make a donation, please. I accept money. Because I do this
Same
for you
here.
guys. Absolutely. To Crystal, donate to her as well. Me, and if you want to message me, you can go to my Facebook. My name's Gabriel Hackney. I'm on Facebook. I talk about these things. And if you want to email me, you can go to my email. It is the Reiki Master Team at gmail.com. That is REIKI Reiki. And why the Reiki Master Team? Because when you work with spirit, you never work alone.
Nope, you sure don't.
Thank you.
So, not a problem anytime. I will see you guys again, hopefully tomorrow night. And hopefully our hosts don't fall asleep on us again. So, from everybody here at Truth Shocker, we will see you again soon. Bye.